أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ولا عاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين صلوات الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقضى به الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلوم لك اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وشاكرا وتوبة نصوحا رب يسر ولا تعسر رب تمم بالخير رب زدني علما وفهما وألحقنا بالصالحين اللهم اجعلنا من التوابين واجعلنا من المتطهرين واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين واجعلنا من الذين لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا قدوس يا سلام لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My respected brothers and very respected sisters, Jazakumullahu khairul jaza for making such an effort to come to the masjid amongst your busy lives to learn the basics of our deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put blessing into our evening. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah and shower His blessings into our learning. And inshallah when we leave this place we take something with us which will inshallah will become part and parcel of our daily practice of Islam inshallah. We are going through the 54 Faraid, the sharh of 54 Faraid as it was enumerated by the great Imam of the Tabi'een, Imam Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah. We are on Fard 6. We began to introduce the topic last week. And the sixth Fard, according to our list of Faraid, if you haven't got one, you should get one here. There are some copies. The sixth Fard was to believe in and put our absolute trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise in taking care of our sustenance, our rizq, while we continue to live on earth. It is fard upon every Muslim to believe and put in absolute trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise in taking care of one's sustenance, rizq, while we continue to live on earth. We have defined rizq as something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, and this is according to madhahib in aqidah changes in definition. Something that literally at the basic level, something that which gives you nourishment into your stomach, which becomes part and parcel of your system. How much water you're going to drink, how much food you're going to eat, how much halawat al-jiban you're going to have, how much sweets and chocolates you're going to have, how much chilies you're going to have is all written for you. Nobody could ever interfere with this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises in the Qur'an in many places that He is the one who will take care of this and nobody else. Since our rizq is fixed, it is imperative for a Muslim to believe in such that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the guarantor of my rizq. Therefore, I should not have any anxiety attack as to my rizq is going to come to me or not. This is the whole point of this fard. A Muslim should have a relaxed heart, peaceful heart, and put his full trust and absolute trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise in the Qur'an in many places that He is Inna Allah huwa ar-razzaqu dhul quwwatil mateen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider for all. He is the owner of everything, of all power and strength. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. I had a very good friend, may Allah give him long life if he's still alive. He had a pizza shop in Elmore. When we're talking about this topic, he said, Mahmud, I'm going to tell you this topic, this story that happened to me. This just goes to prove that your rizq is fixed. I said, tell me this story. He said, I received a phone call. I went to the shop early. I'm selling pizza. I open up at 5 o'clock. I received a phone call about 11 o'clock. Somebody said they need 76 pizzas for a party. 76 pizzas. Wow. I said, yep, no problem. I can take the order. I went early, he says. I made the dough. I prepared the dough. And all along, I'm thinking for myself. Usually, my output, the number of pizzas I sell through the night, is about 80. Not too much, 80. So 76 here, plus 80. Oh, tonight, subhanAllah, double the earnings. I made double the dough, he says. Came 5 o'clock, the people came to collect the pizzas, which I made. They collected and gone. He says, Mahmud, Wallahi al-Azim, all night until 11:30, 12 o'clock, from 5 till 12 o'clock, I only sold 4 pizzas and no phone calls. So in other words, I made my 80. I thought I was in control of my rizq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who's in control of everything. The point is, many people become anxious when they lose their jobs, when they are given the boot sometimes, the sack, or they are retrenched from work. They go into the psychological issues, problems, rehabilitation process. Why? I am going to become poor, I'm going to become destitute. Wallahi al-Azim, no. Your rizq is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in your hands. Last week, once we defined what rizq was, we also went to say that human beings are of 5 different categories in terms of understanding rizq and putting in their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is the provider for all. We said the kafirs believe that rizq is absolutely in their own hands. You work, you get any. You don't work, you don't get nothing. The second group was the mushrikeen. They said, yep, rizq is from Allah. Allah is the one who gives the rains. Allah is the one who gives sunshine. But we need to really work. Both. Not in the way we understand. I want you to understand it. The third, the munafiqeen. They say, yep, rizq comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but I'm not really sure whether He's going to give me or not. This is how a kafir thinks. This is how a munafiq, a hypocrite, thinks. Fourth, a fasiq, a person who believes, a Muslim. A fasiq is a Muslim who is a sinful transgressor. There are how many types of Muslims? There is the Anbiya. alayhimus salam. They are the best of creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you have the Siddiqeen. These are the terminologies used in the Qur'an for categorizing Muslims. Shuhada, the martyrs. Was-Salihin, the pious Muslims. Then, before you go into the Munafiq section, there is another category called Fasiqeen. The sinful Muslims, who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who read the ayat al-Qur'an. They say, yeah, I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they constantly transgress Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's laws in terms of acquiring that rizq. They don't care whether that rizq comes from halal or haram. They know that Allah is the one provider. Doesn't matter, halal or haram, give it to me, Ya Rabbana, Ya Rabbana. For me, Ya Rabbana. This is the fasiq Muslim. Of course, the true Muslim, Salihin, are the ones who believe that, yes, you need to work. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created causes, asbab. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is musabbib al-asbab. He is the effect of those causes. He is the one who creates those causes for you. And your duty is to work. But no matter how much you work, you must believe and have a settled heart that rizq is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until you run out of your rizq in this world, you will not be able to move 1 inch from this earthly life. We need to work. Fard upon us to seek ayash, bread, earnings. It is fard. You cannot just sit and become a parasite on the community. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, do not be a parasite on the community. Kallan ala nas. Do not be parasite on the community. You need to work with your sweat, with your hard work, but earn through halal way, the halal method, only halal. Because if you do not differentiate between what is halal and haram, you become a fasiq. Fasiq doesn't differentiate. Yep, you believe in the rizq that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to do the right things, but you cannot hasten and do the harams and seek your rizqi from haram means. Many are Muslim women who understand this topic beautifully. When their husbands come home with a face that is looking so depressed, what's wrong? The company laid off so many workers. I was one of them. Alhamdulillah. So, your rizq in that particular door is finished. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open another door for you. Because Allah is the one who provides. Allah is the one who guarantees that your rizq will be here. You will never die of hunger. There is not a single human being who dies out of hunger. Excuse me, brother, what are you talking about? Go to Africa and you see what the Muslims are doing. People are dying of malnourishment. It is the zalimeen, the oppressors, the rulers who receive thousands of tons, millions of tons of aid and help. They usurped us. They keep it for themselves and they let their people die of hunger. They are the murderers. Otherwise, no human being shall ever die of hunger. Never. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise is there. But the murderers still continue to murder. If you do not feed your cat, as in the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a woman who was so pious, so to speak, went to Jahannam because she did not feed the cat, because she wanted to punish the cat. And the cat died as a result. So, what do we say? In the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe the rizq of the cat is finished. However, the murderer of that cat is the woman. Because of her intention, she shall be charged for murder of the cat. Bad intention. So the leaders of those Muslim countries, African countries, they receive thousands and millions of dollars and aid in food and everything else, but they are the ones who are the fat cats. They do not give money or they help to their people. Rizq in general is absolutely hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the absolute terms. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in one particular ayah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن دَابَّةٍ لَا تَحْمِلُ رِزْقَهَا اللَّهُ يَرْزُقُهَا وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And so many a moving, living creature there is in the universe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, that carries not its own provision. They don't produce their own rizq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for them, for it, and for you. And He is the all-hearer and all-knower. And the ayah that we mentioned last week, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to us in Surah Al-Hud, verse 6, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا وَيَعْلَمُ مُسْتَقَرَّهَا وَمُسْتَوْدَعَهَا كُلٌّ فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. There is not a single moving creature that moves on earth, from the littlest bugs to a blind ankabut, blind spider who lives 3-4 stories down in the basement, in the dark, sets up its net, and a fly finds a way through those little holes and comes inside and just nicely sticks itself to what? To the web, and the blind spider goes and eats it. Who guarantees that rizq? And beneath the sea, beneath the oceans, that people cannot even go, they say little creatures, they eat certain amount of things. They never go hungry. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, if you trusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fully, not just words, fully from your hearts, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise of rizq to you, you would have been like the birds. Birds will leave their nests early in the morning with empty stomach and come back to their nests with full stomach. Have you ever seen a bird complaining to the female or the children bird, we are hungry today, no worm? No. Allah provides for all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there is not a single moving creature, living creature on earth, إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ rizquha, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not taken upon Himself to guarantee this rizq for that creature. وَيَعْلَمُ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely knows مُسْتَقَرَّهَا, where that particular creature, bird to the beast to anything you like, where they stay at night, where their nests are, where they move and where they're going to die. مُسْتَوْدَعَهَا كُلٌّ فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. It's all written in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in that al-lawh al-mahfuz. Completely, there is not a single creature left. They asked Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ya Ibrahim, لِأَيِّ شَيْءٍ اتَّخَذَكَ خَلِيلًا. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala call you my Khalil, my friend? Through what means you became such, you received such status? Friend of Allah. Ibrahim Khalilullah, Adam Safiyullah. Remember? Musa Kalimullah, Isa Ruhullah, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Habibullah, beloved of Allah. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taken you as Khalil? What are your attributes? What do you understand from this? What's your understanding? قال Ibrahim alayhi salam بثلاثة أشياء, for 3 things. Very simple he answers. اخترت أمر الله تعالى على أمر غيره. When I had an option to choose between what Allah commands me to do and what other people ask me to do, demanding me to do, I always preferred what Allah asked me to do. I gave preference, priority to what Allah commanded me to do. Okay, there is television and there is salat, adhan. They're all calling you to watch and attend to. One is television and the other one is salat. What does Ibrahim alayhi salam do? Salat first. Allah's command takes over all commands. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order takes over everything else. WCD or WCQ 696 Toyota blocking silver. One brother Ken, one brother car. Who wants to leave now? Okay, that's one message. Toyota Avalon blocking other cars. Please remove your car.
It's too early for it.
Too early? So Ibrahim alayhi salam says, I always, when I had two choices to make, two options, up to me to decide, I always gave preference of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. I ikhartu amr Allah ta'ala ala amri ghayri. You make a choice. Oh man, I've got another half an hour to finish this job. Adhan is there. Stop and do your adhan. Do your salat. But wait, the meeting is continuing. Let's finish the meeting first, man. We're going to do salat afterwards. Adhan is being calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No excuses. Secondly, وَمَا اهْتَمَمْتُ بِمَا تَكَفَّلُ اللَّهُ لِي. I have never and ever worried over what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already guaranteed for me in terms of my rizq. Never even crossed my mind. Never. Allah already guaranteed my rizq. Why do I have to worry? Why do I have to worry? And he used to make lots of shukr. Lots of shukr to the ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to give. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to increase the ni'mah upon him. He actually began to complain to Jibreel alayhi salam. They said, Ya Jibreel, I've got so much wealth now. I don't know what to do with it. I've got so many sheep, so many cows, so many everything else, so much property, I don't know what to do with it. Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now, Jibreel alayhi salam said, Ya Ibrahim, I give you a little clue. You eat your bread, your sandwich, he hardly used to ever eat on his own. He'll always eat with somebody else. But he says, when you're eating on your own, walk around. Walk around and eat. He said, okay. And next time Jibreel alayhi salam came, he says, what happened? He says, the wealth increased more. How did that happen? Did you do the thing that I asked you to do? Yes. He says, well, you asked me to eat while walking? Yes. I made a big bib around me so that no crumb ever drops on the ground. So yes, I'm walking and eating, but making sure that I do not lose anything. Respecting to the crumb, breadcrumb. To the extent, he says, the other day while I was walking, one of them dropped on the floor. I couldn't find it. I searched and couldn't find it. He says, then, just to make sure, I put some rocks around that area that nobody comes and ever steps on those breadcrumbs. Ibrahim alayhi salam was told by Jibreel Amin, he says, Ya Ibrahim, go and enjoy your wealth. You're making shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're appreciating what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you. You are not ungrateful. The amount of food that we waste, the amount of food that we waste through our fridges, that we go and buy stuff from the supermarket and fill our vegetable section, other section, another section. After 2-3 weeks of non-usage, it becomes all rotten, chuck into the rubbish bin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to question us for these. No wonder there is no barakah in our earnings, in our homes, where we say, we can't make ends meet. because we waste so much. So Ibrahim alayhi salam says, I never and ever, the second quality of mine is that I never worried about the rizq that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised me. I never and ever worry. Thirdly, they asked him, what's the third reason? وَمَا تَعَشَّيْتُ وَمَا تَغَدَّيْتُ إِلَّا مَعَ الضَّيْفِ. I never supped or dined, had never had any food without a guest present in that food. Somebody who will come and eat with me. That was his akhlaq. Never ate alone. We hear from the hadith of Rasulullah. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Allah is going to ask you everything that you ever came across. And as terms of your rizq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask you, how did you get it? Where did you get it? Haram, halal, everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask. But one thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in one hadith, that if you were to eat in a company, and you say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, do the halal stuff, halal, not haram, you will not be questioned on the judgment for this. وَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. This doesn't apply to you because you're eating in jama'ah, barakah. Eating in barakah, together. The more hands goes into a dining dish, the food dish, the more barakah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. The old style, the classic Muslim style, not the European style. Everybody has a little plate and serve the dish and everybody eats different. No, eating from the same dish. Rahmah comes right in the middle and spreads through. We're supposed to eat together. Eat together. So Ibrahim alayhi salam says, I never ate without a guest. One day he could not eat because there was no guest. Second day, no guest. He's worried. He went outside and waiting. On the road. He lives in the country. He's waiting for somebody to pass through so that he can ask the person to come and join and eat. And he finally saw somebody walking in a very old man. Completely white hair. Maybe 85, 90 years old. With a stick he's just walking slowly. He says, right, I've got somebody. Come, a guest. Daif, a guest. He sits together, he says, come, I've got dinner for you. The man says, okay, I'm hungry too, let's go and eat. Sit together, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, starts eating. The other one doesn't say Bismillah. And he starts eating, 3, 4. He says, who are you? He says, I am such and such. A Majusi, a fire worshipper, Astaghfirullah al-Azim, a mushrik. Get lost, he says. Get away from my sofra. Get away from my dining table. He says, okay, no problem. You are the one who invited me. You are the one who kicked me out. So he gets up and leaves the table. He's walking. Jibreel Amin straight away comes. Says, Ya Ibrahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives salams to you. And he also tells you this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been feeding that mushrik for the last 80 years, 70, 80 years. Allah never complained. Allah is Ar-Rahman. Such merciful Lord, Ar-Razzaq kulli shay. Allah is the one who gives every creature its food. Rizq. Allah never complains. For one food, one little dinner, you complained. Ibrahim alayhi salam understood what he did. He ran after him, says, come, please, I apologize, I'm sorry. Come back and eat. He says, you stop playing games with me, what's wrong? Why did you change your mind? He says, my God rebuked me. I am Ibrahim alayhi salam. Through the Jibreel Amin, Malak came and told me that I was doing something wrong. Allah has been feeding you for the last how many years, decades? And although you were a kafir, non-believer in him, Allah did not mind and he was just keep feeding you. The man came to his senses. He says, is it true that Allah, creator, your creator, has rebuked you because of me? He says, yes. He says, then be witness that I declare that there is none worthy of worship besides Allah, and you, Ya Ibrahim, is his messenger. He becomes a Muslim. What was the second quality of Ibrahim alayhi salam? Why he became Khalilullah? Because I never worried about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already allotted for me of livelihood, of rizq. This is a major problem amongst the Muslims of today. This is something that a Muslim is supposed to really instill in his or her heart at a younger age. Rizq is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not anybody else. Rizq is in the hands of Allah. My duty is to work. And whatever my rizq is going to come to me. And my duty is to seek it through halal means, not haram means. Seeking through haram means is absolutely haram. Absolutely haram. In Jami' al-Saghir, there is a hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the translation, he says, Ruhul Qudus, Jibreel alayhi salam has conveyed into my heart, inspired into my heart, and told me through revelation, inspiration, there is not a single nafs, any of the species amongst human beings, or amongst the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until they completely finish, deplete all their rizq, they shall not die. That's what he told me, he says. Therefore, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, fear Allah. Do not resort to haram ways of seeking your rizq. Do not resort to haram, fraudulent ways of seeking your rizq. Be dignified. Do not rush. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. Do not be khafif. Do not be, do not go overboard with your worry. The anxiety should not be in your heart. Allah is the one who provides. Sometimes you think that you're seeking your halal rizq 100%, and yet sometimes you feel that it's not coming to you. What do you have to do then? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes withholds the rizq of a Muslim for a short period of time because of his wrongdoings, harams that he commits. Therefore, a Muslim who cannot see his own harams should constantly make, on regular basis, should increase the number of istighfars that he does. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Ya Rabbi, please forgive me. Oh Allah, please forgive me. Please, Ya Rabbi, forgive me. I don't see my mistakes. Please, Ya Rabbi, forgive me. If you increase your astaghfirullahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will release that rizq to you. But you'll never leave this earth without completely depleting your rizq in the first place. Therefore, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, seek your rizq from Hasan, beautiful ways. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perchance were to withhold your rizq for some reason or another, this should not lead you to seeking it through haram means. Because rizq, with all its forms, is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and could only be reached to that rizq through ita'ah, not through ma'asiyah, through ita'ah, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, as a Muslim, we also believe that none of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could ever be mixed up in terms of their rizq. No two creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, two human beings, two animals, they can never have any extra of their rizq or less than what they are already allotted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly knows what the needs of His makhluqat, His creation are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is in the wombs of the mothers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whereabouts each and every dharra that He has created at all times. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also designed the rizq according to the species that He has created. There is no mixture. One is suitable for this particular creation, may not be suitable for this creation. Some of them are carnivores, some of them are what? Yep, one of those, vegetarians. I mean, no pun intended. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created their abilities of seeking that rizq according to their rizq also. Can you imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would create tigers with wings? And if they were to pray, there won't be any species left on earth. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave limitations as well as ability according to what they need to eat. 100%. When you begin to change the nature of the makhluqat, the creation, you meddle with things. I remember years back, early 80s, I went to university, one of the townships nearby. And the first 2 weeks, because I couldn't find a place to live, I stayed with one family, one Australian family, and she was vegan, and she had one of those hunting dogs. Subhanallah, I've never seen crying dog before. Dog is constantly waiting, constantly. Doesn't want to move, just constantly crying. I said, excuse me, madam, why is your dog constantly crying? She said, I'm training him. To be what? To be vegetarian. I don't feed him for the last 6 months any meat. I only give him vegetable. Therefore he is forced to eat vegetable. Meat is murder. I said, thank you. She goes to work, I go to butcher. That dog and I became best friends. Jumping up and down. How can you change the nature of that creature? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the nourishment that he gets. Have you ever seen any of the dogs or cats becoming diabetic? High blood pressure? Doesn't exist. Allah created the nourishment, whatever necessary, design for that particular creation. But human beings, the ones who abuse their system, the ones who eat all the rubbish, and modify what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala naturally created as organic, and we become all sick. We are the ones who play with our rizq and turn into something nonsense. Correct? GM foods, it's all the same. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created each creature suitable nourishment, sustenance according to that particular creature. Nothing more, nothing less. This is fascinating. This is when you look at it, you say, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. In Surah Dhariyat, in verses 56, 57 and 58, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the following. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينَ. Many of us know the first part of the ayah. We repeat it all the time, so many times. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create jinn kind or the mankind except to worship Him. But immediately after that ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we do not wish any rizq from you. On the contrary, we are the ones who provide you your rizq. We don't want you to feed us. We are the ones who provide the rizq, sustenance, nourishment, livelihood of everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guaranteed. This is the belief of a Muslim. There is the famous hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where everybody knows this is one of the miracles of the Qur'an, scientific aspects of the Qur'an, that people there, when they hear it, when they see it first time, which is said 1400 years ago, their jaws drop of fascination and amazement, where this is to do with qadar. You can find this in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, muttafaqun alayh, in almost every other the book, including the Arba'een of Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, where the hadith goes, for barakah inshallah, I'm going to read the Arabic, and we will inshallah just briefly go to the meaning. عن أبي هريرة عن عبد الرحمن عن أبي عبد الرحمن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه قال حدثنا رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وهو صادق المصدق صادق المصدق إن يجمع خلقه في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك ثم يكون مضغة مثل ذلك ثم يرسل إليه الملك فينفخ فيه الروح ويؤمر ب4 كلمات بكتب رزقه وأجله وعمله وشقي أو سعيد. صدق رسول الله فيما قال أو كما قال. Abu Abdurrahman, this little Sahabi, short stature, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh, reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most truthful, the most trusted, told us, verily the creation of any one of you takes place when he is assembled in his mother's womb. For 40 days he is as a drop of fluid. Then it becomes a clot for a similar period, another 40 days. Thereafter it is a lump looking like it has been chewed for a similar period. Then an angel is sent to him who breathes the ruh spirit into him. The angel commanded to write 4 decrees for that person, that he writes down his rizq, his provisions in his life. How much is he going to eat and drink? Everything. Just this is your provision for the day, for the whole year. For the whole life. His lifespan, how long is he going to live? His deeds, good or bad. And whether he will be amongst the felicitous or the blessed. The felicitous or the wretched. Wretched or the blessed. Sa'id or shaqi. This hadith is to do with the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But everybody's rizq is written before they were born. On the 120th day, the third 40 completed. On the 120th day, Malak comes. The day when the heart begins to pump. Not the brain is further formed or anything as such. The heart actually begins to pump. That particular day, the life, ruh is given to you. That particular day, things are written for you. The first thing is, how much you're going to eat in this world. Your rizq is set. You can never change. I know quite a few rich people who were billionaires of their time. They could not eat anything because they were type 1 diabetic person. They cannot eat anything. Anything they eat, their blood pressure goes up. They can't enjoy anything in life. Remember, the definition of rizq is what goes into your throat, not what is in your pocket. Yes, in a wider definition, that's also your rizq. There are many forms of other rizq, but the real true rizq at the base level is what goes into your nourishment system, into your system to give you health, give you nourishment. So, Malak writes down for you how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Lawh al-Mahfuz, Kitab al-Mubin, has written for you in terms of your rizq. Therefore, why worry? Therefore, it is fard upon every single Muslim to believe and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise that there is not a single creature that moves on earth which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not guarantee its rizq. Why worry? Get rid of this anxiety. You're not in charge of my rizq. You're my boss. You're not in charge of my rizq. Allah is. You can sack me, so that's your job. I'll go and find another job. Through means, it says, sabab, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me another rizq. My children will never go hungry. Impossible. Impossible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who provides. But you need to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I never forget. I was running my own business at one stage. Terrible business. I never encourage anybody to do so of the way that I was running. There are many successful ways of running a business, but I was not a very good businessman. So one day, Mustafa rings me up. He says, you have to bring me some milk and some bread. Normal groceries list. And I looked at my wallet. This is a business life. There is not a single cent, about 15, 20 cents. And my children at home asking for basic food, and it's my job. I felt so terrible. I didn't say anything to her that I don't have money. I said, inshallah, it's coming. I don't know what to do. And I haven't been doing any jobs for the last 2 weeks, and the jobs that I've done, they did not pay me yet. So it's business. Subhanallah. I'm thinking, this ayah, they came through my mind. There is not a single creature on earth that moves which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not guarantee its rizq. I said, Ya Rabbi, I'm doing my best to the best of my ability, but I have difficulty in feeding my children. I'm just thinking, what do I do, Ya Rabbil Alam? I'm just talking. There's nobody in the office. Not a single person. I'm not going to ask anybody. I'm not going to beg from anybody. I'm not going to resort to any haram. Na'udhu billah. No. So there's a telephone book that I use to write the telephone numbers before the advent of the mobile phones. This is. I'm going through the pages, just going through, and all of a sudden I saw one envelope that I used to see every day. Every day. An envelope unopened. I looked at where's the name from? Oh, Institute of Engineers, Australia. Unopened. The date? 5 years ago. I haven't opened the envelope 5 years ago. So, Bismillah. There is a check in it for $8,000, which I did not claim. I forgot about it completely. I did a job for them. They paid me through the mail, and because they said to me that they paid, that's it, I forgot about it. I said, Subhanallah, the lifespan of a check is only 6 months, correct? After that, they can withdraw. The bank will not give you anything. I said, Subhanallah, I don't know what to do now. I went downstairs to the bank. I gave the check to the lady. I said, can you cash this for me? She said, okay, let me check. He says, it's going to cost you. I said, how much? $18. I said, you can have it. $18. You can deduct it from that. She gave me the whole money. Here I am, sitting down. I was worrying about, I can't find money to buy milk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, here on your face. I am the one who provides for you. You've got nothing to do with it. Your duty is to work. Your duty is not to lose sight that I am the one who provides, not anybody else. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who provides. So the sixth fard for a Muslim is to believe in and put absolute trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise that in taking care of one's sustenance while we live on earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises. If you believe otherwise, you have something wrong with your aqeedah. You have to work and seek through halal means, but Allah is the one who provides. Many are people who finish 2 universities, 3 degrees, 2 PhDs, and can't get a job. And the other guy who just could not even finish primary school, he can't even sign his, name, the money is coming out of his ears. Who chooses? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not question. Allah, whomever He wishes to give, He gives. بِغَيْرِ hisab, to some. But on the day of judgment, He's going to question. حَلَالُهُ حِسَابٌ حَرَامُهُ عَذَابٌ. You don't know what is khair for you. You can beg, oh Allah, I want to become rich. I want to become rich. Yeah, for your dua, you get hasana. Allah says, okay, He makes dua. Yep. 1 million hasana, 1 million hasana, 1 million hasana. Yeah, no problem. Here, I kept on the account. But what you want is maybe not good for you. In the qadar, in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what you're seeking may not be good for you. The thing that you're so anxious over, may be not good for you. There was a companion of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He lost his path. He came and begged Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, I'm so poor. He used to be the bulbul He used to be the bird in the masjid. He never used to leave masjid. Every day in salat, behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam 5 times a day. But he had enough, so to speak. He went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, please make dua to Allah. I want to become rich. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, ask for what is khair for you. Don't wish for something that is no good for you. Just accept what it is. Work hard, but if you cannot become rich, you cannot become rich. Correct? He persisted, insisted so much. Eventually Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for him. And he gave him one ewe, one female sheep. And I think they give only, they give lamb twice a year or once a year? 2 or once, I don't know. They begin to give 3-4 times. Before you know it, he had a flock of sheep. Before you know it, this person begin to miss Fajr, because he has to leave early in the morning to the valley where he can feed. We can provide some feed for the sheep. At time before long, he begin to miss Isha, because he is too big. After a year exactly, he began not to come to the masjid at all, because he's got no time for salat. He left the community completely. He is in his wealth. He's rich. A year after, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent his officer to collect zakat from him, because fard on him, it became fard on him to pay zakat. You know what he said? How dare can you ask for anything from me? This is my hard sweat and blood. I've been working so much. No zakat for anybody. What happened? Lost. So what is khair for us, we do not know. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. But this doesn't mean that we sit on our backsides and don't do anything. No, we work hard. We work hard to the best of our ability, but we don't become anxious and we don't lose hope and we give up completely from this promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is an aqidah issue. What's going to happen to you is going to happen to you whether you like it or not. Your duty is to work. This is the second rule, yes. Your duty is to seek it from the halal means, yes. But nothing is happening to you, no matter how much you try. That means perhaps it's not meant for you for the time being. You don't know what is khair for you. Therefore, when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi, if it's khair for me, if it's good for me, for my dunya and akhirah, please give me. If it's no good for my dunya and akhirah, Ya Rabbi, please be gentle on me and let me not experience anxiety. Bismillah. Okay. Back to normal. That's our duty. We should not worry about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us in our rizq. This is the whole point. Therefore, the original rizq that has been assigned for you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fixed, cannot change. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can increase that rizq for you or decrease that rizq for you. It's up to Him. But we believe that it is fixed for you. If Allah is going to increase it for you, it's going to increase it for you anyway. It's already written before, He knows. One day in one of the tafsir books, Musa alayhi salam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to go and make da'wah to Fir'aun, the Pharaoh. Musa alayhi salam is just a person who has no power. In the eyes of the authorities, he's just, and he's got a stutter, he can't even talk. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking him to go and speak to George Bush. As a person from the desert is going to go and speak to George Bush. And he cannot even speak properly. He's got a stutter. And at that moment in his heart, he had a thought passing through. He said, Ya Rabbi, who is going to look after my family if something happens to me? Yeah? If I do this, okay, I'll go and sacrifice myself, not a problem. Who is going to look after my family afterwards? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in the heart of Musa alayhi salam. He says, Ya Musa, the staff that you have in your hand, hit that rock. He hits it and cracks open. And there is another big rock, another rock within, nicely, beautifully, another different type of rock. He says, hit that one also. He hits it open and really opens, and a little worm with food in his mouth, eating, and he began to hear the dhikr, tasbih of that particular worm. Musa alayhi salam is hearing. This is a mu'jiza. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can allow anything to hear. The little dude, Arabic dude means worm. Not the dude, the other dude that we know. Okay, little worm is making tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Excuse me brother, how can the worms make tasbih? What do we know? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there is not a single thing on earth, like He guarantees rizq, single thing on earth which does not make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which you do not hear. This worm was making dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does he say? He says, I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I glorify His name. He is free from all shortcomings. And I acknowledge His greatness. I acknowledge His power. He is the one who sees me at all times. He is the one who hears my tasbih. And He is the one who knows where I live and what I need. Referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I believe in Allah. I put my absolute trust in Allah. I believe in all of His perfect attributes of Allah. My heart is full of iman for Him. Oh Allah, please keep my heart steady in your path. That's what the little dude is making dua. Ibrahim alayhi salam as a human being, which we all are, we have irada juz'iyya, will, small will, that we think that we are in charge of our rizq. In reality, we are not. It looks that way, but we are not. Everything comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, it is absolutely imperative, a must, that a Muslim should instill this particular belief in his or her heart that rizq is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rizq is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's promise in this regard. Our time is up. It's 9:30. Salat is in 3 minutes time or so. If you have any questions, I asked you last week. If you have any questions, you can ask directly. You can stand up and ask. Or if you want to write it in a piece of paper, you can send it. Otherwise, inshallah ta'ala, we shall continue with our topic next week. Any questions? Inshallah. جزاكم الله خير الجزاء. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك يا رب العالمين يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا قدوس يا سلام. اللهم إنا نسألك تمام النعمة ودوام العافية وحسن الخاتمة ورزقا واسعا وعملا متقبلا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وشاكرا وتوبة نصوحا. يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ya hayy ya qayyum ya dhal jalal wal ikram afwa wal afiyata fid din wad dunya wal akhirah tawaffana musliman wa alhiqna bis salihin. Ya hayy ya qayyum ya dhal jalal wal ikram ya rabb as-sab'i as-samawat wa rabb al-'arsh al-'azim. Ya Rabbi, bless our hearts with yaqeen in you. Bless our hearts with certainty in you. Bless our hearts with ikhlas in you. Ya Rabbil Alameen, bless our hearts with beneficial knowledge. Our lives with beneficial practice. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, include our names amongst those Salihin. Include our names amongst those Siddiqeen wa Shuhada. Ya Rabbil Alameen, let us die in a state of Iman. Let us come to you with qalbun salim, pure heart, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, make our mizan, our scales very light. Better still, Ya Rabbil Alameen, do not let us go through that tribulation, difficulties of hereafter. Ya Rabbil Alameen, let us find ourselves as in the promise that you made to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his hadith, that certain number of people will find themselves right at the gates of Jannah without any sirat, without any questioning. Ya Rabbi, please include our names amongst them. And let us enter into Jannah with the first entrance into Jannah behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rabbi, let us become neighbors to your Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the Anbiya al-Mursaleen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Rahman Rahim, bless us with your Jamal from Jannah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. وحدك لا شريك لك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العظيم. And our thanks goes to also all of our brothers and sisters and the families who are watching over the net. جزاكم الله خير الجزاء. لله تعالى الفاتحة.